Big alert about gold and silver for the coming 4 or 5 days from China. We're going to talk about that in this video. We're also going to talk about a lot more. Which billionaire sees gold price hitting $5,000? And what about all this breaking news in regards to precious metals that we're getting from individual states in the United States? Where does your state stand? We're going to cover all that and a lot more. Thank you for being here. This is a live video where we're going to focus in on precious metals for the precious metals community, and also for those of you from the crypto community who've been asking me for more and more precious metals oriented content. You can actually watch this now in 9 different languages. If you press that little gear button, there should be a window that pops up that says audio tracks. And if you want to listen in Japanese, you want to listen in Hindi, go right ahead. So welcome to all of our basement dwellers, all of the people who love to hear about gold and silver from all over the world. But let's talk about this big alert that we need to pay attention to from China and how it relates to the gold and silver market. Let's go out to Saxo Bank, who our friend Ole Hansen tells us today, gold corrects sharply from record highs as Chinese demand pauses. Okay, gold's correction from last month's record high of 3,500 continues to unfold, gathering pace as global risk sentiment shows tentative signs of improvement. So there's been a little bit of a walk back on a lot of the tariff stuff, a lot of the geopolitical issues, a little bit of walk back. So that's lowering the risk premium that's been associated with gold and silver for that matter. All right, the third point down, one key dynamic we continue to watch is Chinese investors. This is where it gets interesting, which have emerged as a dominant source of demand, particularly through local gold-backed ETFs. Now, here's the big alert, guys. We have seen this happen so many times. I'll just read it to you, then I'll talk to you eye to eye. With Chinese markets closed for the Labor Day holiday through May 5th, this bid has temporarily evaporated, exposing gold to additional downside pressure. So the gold and silver markets are going to be challenged for the next week or so because the Chinese just shut everything down for their Labor Day market. Now, we know from past experience, this has given the Western markets, quote unquote, like the LBMA and the COMEX, a great opportunity to manipulate the precious metals prices. We also know that when these holidays are up, I think it was last year, remember those crazy pictures of like 800,000 people showing up at a shopping mall to buy gold and silver? We know that the Chinese can come rushing back into the markets. In particular, if the LBMA and the COMEX are successful in tamping down the price when the Chinese are on holiday. So there's your big alert. Don't be surprised if in the next 4 days, 5 days, maybe 6 days, we get a little bit of a beat down in the precious metals prices. That'll be because the Chinese are gone from the market. But when they come back, they can come back, and I think will come back with a vengeance. The other thing to consider is that the gold price was already really high and in very much overbought territory. So the fact that we're getting a pullback, even if we pull back to the $3,000 range for gold, isn't all that severe or not to be expected, right? Guys, things have gotten really overbought. I think that the data was showing us that long gold had become the most crowded trade on Wall Street. So we were kind of due for a healthy correction. Nothing goes straight up. Remember that as well, okay? Let's take a look at what did happen during Donald Trump's first 100 days in office. Gold source Tech stumbles the market story of Trump's first 100 days in office in a chart. Let's go down to the chart here and see what happened during Donald Trump's first 100 days. Oil down 25%, the Mag 7 down 20%, 10-year yield total return down 10%, Bitcoin down 10%, US dollar index down 10%, the S&P 500 down 7%, but gold, right, up 20%. So again, we've had a magnificent run in gold over the last 100 days, the last 3 months. You know, it's been a great ride. Not unusual for us to see a bit of a pullback. Hey, I want to say thank you to channel sponsor Ledger. They're the hardware wallet crypto security company that leads the pack. Okay, thank you, Ledger, for being a sponsor of the channel. We appreciate it. And we got some interesting gold news out of channel sponsor MoonPay. MoonPay is a leading fintech company, financial technology company. And earlier this week, they announced that they were going to enable their customers to buy digital tokenized gold on their platform. You can now buy XAUT, which is Tether Gold. Tether, that's the company that's behind the huge stablecoin USDT. They also have a gold-based stablecoin, XAUT. Tether Gold website. You can check it out for yourself, but there's a ton of great information out here. And what's very interesting about Tether Gold is that it really allows people to have the benefits of owning physical gold combined with the benefits of a digital token. Look, there's some real challenges in holding a lot of physical gold. And let me just read to you some of the interesting advantages that you get. And the biggest one that I want to point out before we even get started is that this is 100% backed by real physical gold in a vault in Switzerland in their LBMA good for delivery bars. But on top of that, okay, having a digital token, tokenized gold. So one XAUT token is equal to 1 ounce of gold. Again, that's in the vault in Switzerland. It's very easy to transport, right? You can transport it anywhere you like. You don't have to worry about carrying around physical metal. It's extremely divisible. It's very difficult to break up an ounce, a physical ounce of gold for your average person. With this product, with XAUT, you can actually divide it down to 6 decimal places. 24/7 tradability, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If you decide you want to sell your gold, your token that represents physical gold, you can sell it. You can also redeem it. It's also stored safely. That's always a challenge for people that hold physical gold. Where are you going to keep it? In a safe in your house, safety deposit box, bury it in your yard, right? This allows you to know that it's in a safe storage area in Switzerland, and it's all verifiable. The best part is that you can buy it now on MoonPay's platform. MoonPay has helped over 30 million customers in 180 countries, right? They're the on-ramp from fiat into crypto. So thank you to MoonPay for sponsoring Ron's Basement. Thank you to MoonPay for making digital tokenized gold now available to the masses. You can check out MoonPay, guys. Like I said, they're a leading fintech company. Let's move on to what's happening in the individual states. Is your state one of the growing number that either has legal tender legislation or is considering legal tender legislation? Let's run over to the Shreveport Times, because in Louisiana, apparently they are considering recognizing gold and silver as legal tender. And Shreveport Times tells us there's 11 states that currently recognize it. Let's run through this list, and then we're going to look at a great heat map. Utah, Louisiana, Texas, Kansas, Oklahoma, and South Carolina, Wyoming. And here's a list of states that they say attempted to pass but failed. However, we're going to head out here to the Citizens for Sound Money and take a look at what they're telling us. They've got a great heat map. If you go up here to legislation and press state list, we're going to have a map pop up here that is really fun to look at. Okay, Sound Money Legislation Tracker. There's a map of the United States where you can see who has active legislation, who failed legislation. But even more importantly, if you go down here, you got a list of all the states. You can find your state on this list, and very difficult to track all of this through the legislative process, guys. It gets messy. Things are constantly changing. However, you can go to your individual state and see where you stack up. There's New Hampshire, right? Very freedom, libertarian oriented state. Okay, let's talk about next the billionaire who's telling us we're going to have $5,000 gold. That would be Mr. John Paulson. Not necessarily a household name, but certainly a billionaire investor, made some of the greatest trades in the history of Wall Street. And he is saying the central bank gold buying and global trade tensions are likely to push bullion prices to near $5,000 per ounce by 2028. Billionaire investor John Paulson said in an interview during which he reinforced his commitment to U.S. mining projects. They also note here that Deutsche Bank, for one, expects bullion prices to hit $3,700 per ounce by next year. Look, I think that gold and silver are absolutely going to fly. We have confirmation of stagflation, and we know that stagflation is the most fertile soil that you could ever ask for silver prices and gold prices. Just this week, we heard the U.S. economy is contracting, right? The expectations were for a 0.3% gain on the GDP. The actual numbers, which we call into question anyway, we think maybe they're always a little over exaggerated, but came in contraction territory at negative 0.3%. While at the same time, we all know there was persistent heavy inflation heading into this year that's only been exacerbated by the tariff situation. And guys, so we're going to be in this situation with a contracting economy, check, and expanding, increasing, rising inflation. That is the definition of stagflation. Stagflation is the definition of higher prices for non-fiat based stores of value, things like silver, things like gold, and things like crypto. And look, the situation's not going to get any better. Let's go take a look at this video that came out from China. I'm going to play this for you briefly. We won't watch the whole thing, but
a 90-day pause game with other nations, forcing them to limit trade with China. This is just like the deadly trap of the eye of the storm. Bowing to a bully is like drinking poison to quench thirst.
China is saying we are not going to kneel down to the United States.
The U.S. once accused,
right?
No mistake, the U.S. will keep flip-flopping and playing hardball. But China will stand firm.
China will stand
no matter how hard the wind blows.
Woof.
No matter how clouds rage.
Okay, and China, we know, is now a world power. Okay, 1.4 billion people. A lot of people say the biggest economy in the world. At minimum, they're the second biggest economy in the world, and we are in a juggernaut with China. We are going head-to-head with China right now. Now, Trump has walked back a little bit. Remember the big, Liberation Day stuff? He's walked back a little bit and seems to even be potentially walking back a little bit on some of the tariffs with China, but it doesn't look like there's a full resolution coming anytime soon. And the Chinese are standing up, right? Putting out a video from their government saying, we will not kneel down. And one final point, we can look to Trump himself. Did he give us a big clue about what we can expect with precious metals when just recently we had gold hit record highs after Trump revives the golden rule? He basically stated that rule over the weekend. President Trump provided a new catalyst for gold with a bold statement on his Truth Social platform. In the post, the president declared, quote, "He who has the gold makes the rules." This powerful message did not go unnoticed. Trump's post sent gold prices surging to a new historic high within striking distance of $3,500 an ounce as financial markets opened on Mondays. So, wow, guys, when we put it all together, right, what's going on with China right now, and that we might have a bit of a pullback because the Chinese are temporarily out of the gold market, but more importantly, what's going on with China on a geopolitical level when it comes to this trade war, that coupled with just the overall sentiment, we hear from a billionaire about $5,000 gold. I think that by the end of the year, we're going to have gold prices either at $4,000 or $3,000. I can't see gold going much below $3,000. I do believe that silver is in for a wonderful, good ride in the coming 6 to 12 months. I've stated publicly that I think a year from now, we could easily have silver prices well north of $50, $60, $70 per ounce for silver. Would not surprise me. Hey, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for being part of the basement. Don't forget, if you're looking for a good way, if you have something you want to hide, something you want to store safely, don't forget DirtyMan SAFE, guys, okay? And the discount code, RON10. These things are awesome. You can go out to the DirtyMan SAFE website, learn all about them. It allows you, right, to store silver, gold, anything else that you have that's valuable in the ground, safe from fire, flood, everything else. It's a good way to diversify maybe where you keep your precious metals if you decide that you want to, keep custody of them yourself. DirtyManSafe.com, Ron10. Most importantly, thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the basement. Have a great day. I'll look forward to seeing you soon.